The playoffs are here. Baltimore looks to take the rubber match against the Steelers. Just how ugly does the Steel City look after a really bad playoff showing?
Texans and the Chargers. After 4 interceptions, any team's got a chance at victory.
The playoffs are here. Day one of this 3-day wild card weekend. We'll kick it off with 3 shows to break everything down right here on Sunday Scaries with Buccs McGee.
Yeah, playoff football. This is the time of year where we're supposed to be excited. It's supposed to be the best kind of football. Nail biters. Um, I don't know. This is sad, 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 sir. Mr. Nutmeg, how we doing?
Yes, Bucks McGee, quite the impressive performance by Roger Goodell's league to kick things off.
If you really wanted people not to watch your product, this was the weekend to start. Good Lord. Um, yeah. What can I say? Houston won. Gotta give Houston credit. Um, Chargers just, you know, didn't bring it.
Yeah, let's try what we can to deep dive on that one. Uh, I mean, I guess the positives for the Chargers was that they got out to a 6-0 lead, and after that, it just slowly, and then all of a sudden, really fast, matriculated to quite the embarrassment. I,
Well, it was 6-0, and so the Houston finally scores the touchdown. It's Nico Collins, and then I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be one of these games where it's going to be, it's going to be defensive battle. It's going to be a tight scoring game. All right, good, good. Nope. All of a sudden, Houston shows up. Herbie helps them in the tune of 4 picks. Now, a couple were tipped, but either way, and unfortunately, an interception is an interception.
yeah,
The Houston defense awakens, and lo and behold, 32-12, and the party's over.
yeah, we were concerned about the Texans being uh, the team where the defense just gives it their all, but CJ Stroud just can't get it right, can't get them off the field. They tire, and then the Chargers may wind up running away with it. Obviously, that didn't happen. So what went right with the Texans where they finally figured this out from that very up and down, inconsistent team we saw the entire season?
Oh, it was simple. The second half, it was CJ's legs. CJ started scrambling out of the pocket, and at that point, the Chargers had no answer for it. He was picking up chunk plays. He was picking up 10, 15 yards at a clip. And at that point, the Chargers defense started to, kind of fixate on that. And the next thing you know, it's the CJ of old, spreading the ball around. Joe Mixon reappears, starts running hard. And before you know it, there was no way for the Chargers to come back. But yeah, CJ scrambling out of the pocket, that was the key.
That's interesting because that's not exactly his strong suit. Running, he's very much a stand-up pocket passer. So it's interesting to know that that was kind of the catalyst to getting back going in this one to close the game out.
Yeah, the Chargers were just sitting back and giving them the yards. So Houston was smart to say, all right, let's see what we can do. And like I said, though his slides could use some work, he's not the prettiest sliding quarterback you'll ever see, but extending plays, first downs, and at that point it opened up that offense. The offense awoken. It looked like the offense of last year. So I give them credit.
Yeah, Mixon showed up. Um, Nico Collins, huge game with this touchdown, of course, and um, the offense just even without CJ scrambling to vault them, the passing game actually looked pretty competent.
No, it looked good, but definitely it opened up because of CJ's legs. I'll be honest, because when he just sat there that first half, it looked like the Texans of this year, just up and down, nothing really going consistently. Once he started scrambling out of the pocket, things opened up, and unfortunately, the Chargers shot themselves in the foot.
Is there with the Chargers now? Is it just a matter of bad luck in this game? Ball get a couple tipped balls and the wheels come off, or was there actually like trends throughout this one to make you raise an eyebrow and going, this team just does not have it?
Second half, the offensive line really fell apart. There was one point where Houston rattled off 2 sacks, and then next thing you know, it was like third and like 25, third and 30, and the next thing you know, that's when Herbie hits the 80-yard strike to McConkey, and then you're thinking, oh, maybe this is the turnaround.
Yeah.
Houston blocks the extra point, runs it back for 2, and then at that point you're just like, yeah, this game is over. There's no chance this is happening. It was just bad luck. They just fell apart at the wrong time. Like I said, the offensive line wasn't holding up well, and any quarterback, is gonna, try a little more and try to force some things, and that's what happened. But I think they're in a good place going into next year, and I think the Chargers are only going to get better. Improve the line, probably get another another receiver, because I just don't know if Johnson's the guy to opposite McConkey. He ran some routes that weren't exactly crisp, so I'm sure they're going to work on that. But overall, Harbaugh's first year, you got to give him credit.
Yeah, and Harbaugh, excuse me, Herbert might have this aura about him now where kind of starting to form where he's a regular season quarterback. He had a very good season in the first year under Harbaugh, and then now all of a sudden we have a playoff game that was very left a lot to be desired. So is he starting to get that kind of feel about him that he can't get over the hump? He can't win a big game.
The reputation as a regular season great quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd have to say, yeah. At this point, I think the time is up on him where we say, okay, next year, he's still young, he's got a chance. You're not He's not old, but he's a veteran now. And at this point, if you're not, getting, a couple wins in the playoffs, then yeah, you're almost a one and done kind of guy. It's great you put up the stats in the regular season, but come playoffs, no one's taking you seriously. He's At this point in his career, he's got to be able to put the team on his back and pull out some wins now. It's playoffs or bust now.
yeah, no more training wheels. They're the kind of grace period, so to speak.
Exactly.
Going into
Exactly.
the league and learning the league, learning the opponents, that sort of thing. That's kind of on in the rearview mirror now.
Oh yeah, it's totally over now. The whole grace period, usually by like your third or fourth year, it's like, okay, it's time to move on. He's been in the league long enough. If he's not getting it done, then yeah, you've got to question, is all he good for is regular season wins, and then once the playoffs come, you guys are gonna just fall apart. So it's time. It's time for him to, put it on his shoulders and be the guy.
Anything you noticed coaching wise that stood out like a sore thumb or between with Harbaugh, or was this and D'Amico Ryan's out coaching him, or was this strictly a personnel thing? Players not producing when they needed to.
Yeah, I don't think the Chargers did anything coaching wise horribly. It was just bad luck. The 4 picks, Houston's off defense awakening. The offense, the Chargers offensive line basically becoming a sieve and just not being able to stop anything. That's what happened. I think coaching was fine. They just player wise, they just didn't make plays.
Anything to note about their defense? Because we were kind of not saying we were high on the Chargers defense, but we weren't necessarily down on them.
For the first half or so, they were great. The defense was great, but like I said, once CJ started scrambling, their defense just seemed to fall apart. And then, CJ's able to find, the spots in the defense, with the pass. Mixon woke up and was able to run the ball well, and it just seemed like the defense fell apart.
Yeah. Well, speaking of defenses falling apart, we are certainly not used to that moniker when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but
Yeah, this is a winner too. Yeah, go ahead.
not not exactly going to Pittsburgh script by any stretch of the imagination. Derrick Henry is already over 100 yards in the first half. Lamar Jackson's been borderline perfect. Uh, and the Steelers can't figure out which quarterback they want to play in the game. I think at this point you just have to go with Fields because Russ, he had this one pretty rainbow to Pickens, and of course it gets called back for offensive pass interference.
You have an Isaiah Likely sighting. Nelson Aguilar shows up this game.
Mark Andrews had a nice run out on the touchdown before half.
The Ravens already have 300 plus yards of offense in the half. Okay, now mind you, it's 21-0. You would have thought it would be 42-0 at that rate. Long drives. The Steelers offense honestly has felt like it's been on the field maybe 5 minutes. At this point, unless this offense somehow snaps out of it, I think you're seeing the end of the Russell Wilson experiment. It's time to let him go. And you're going to start to hear, I don't care who you are, Mike Tomlin, greatest mediocre coach of all time.
Let's talk about that. I wanted to save that, but let's talk about it now. Obviously the Steelers, they don't fire coaches. They never get rid of people, but at the same time, like, how long does it go where you're just not competitive? Maybe you get to the playoffs, but you don't have a good showing, and you have an embarrassment like this. Like, how much longer can that leash get? Where, okay, maybe they don't fire him, but they come to some mutual separation or something, just to kind of save a little bit of face towards the franchise's history.
What this franchise needs to do is something that they don't do, is come up with like a draft deal to get yourself a franchise quarterback. You need a franchise quarterback, point blank. You don't have it. You can't do it with smoke and mirrors anymore. And this defense is getting older. I'm sorry, TJ Watt is incredible, but he was nicked up a lot this year. And these guys, you're running this defense into the ground, trying to win games like 16-13. You're trying to hang your hat thinking you're going to win a championship this way. It's not going to happen. You need a franchise quarterback. So it's not Fields, because you basically gave him the shaft. You gave him the shaft. He was decent this year, but you gave him the shaft. You knew all along that you were going to go at Russ. You put Russ in. He has a couple decent games. I'm not going to take that from him. But at the end of the year, non-existent. So This is what you have. So it's time to either do that or, trade Mike Tomlin. Trade him. Yeah. They trade coaches now. There's been talks about it. Get yourself a ton of draft picks, rebuild it, and move on.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some team out there that kind of has enough pieces together and needs an experienced new voice to put them over.
Chicago. They've been talking about trading for coaches. Why not? Chicago. If he wants to rebuild a team or something like that, go talk to the Jets. I wouldn't want that job, but hey, talk to the Jets.
Yeah.
If you want to be truly mediocre and continue your legacy that way, because I'm sorry, the luster of your Super Bowl win, even though you're a coach and you have that, it stays with you. But the NFL is a what have you done for me lately league. And what have you done, Mike?
That Super Bowl was a lot closer to their previous Super Bowl with Cowher than it is to present day.
Yeah, and I think it's time to say, you know what, I've done everything I can in Pittsburgh. Let me go ahead and take it somewhere else. But if you're not going to do that, then you've got to figure out your quarterback issue, because this team cannot win without a quarterback. Cannot happen.
Yeah, to your point about, okay, let's just win 16-13 games. Well, your offense has to show something of a pulse to win a 16-13 games. You still have to get field goals. Right?
Yeah, you can't even
do that.
No, Najee Harris, I haven't heard his name. He's not existent. Warren has been suspect. He's been okay, but it just, like I said, they feel like they haven't been on the field more than 5 minutes. You get Pickens, who, if he gets a catch, all of a sudden wants to yell at everybody in the stadium how great he is.
Yeah.
So, what is this? You're running your elite defense into the ground, and this is where you're at. So unless the offense here awakens in the next 5 minutes, this game is done. The Ravens will move on, and the Steelers again will be sitting here with an offseason full of questions.
Well, you can't yell at you can't yell at the stadium about how great you are when your one catch is offensive pass interference.
But he's great, man. Pickens, incredible.
I
I
think
don't know.
I think Chicago actually could be a good move for Tomlin if that were to materialize. I mean, obviously he's got Caleb. The defense isn't that far off from what
No,
Pittsburgh is. I mean, just figure out a way to fix that offensive line, and he may step into something without skipping a beat, at least as far as his ego is concerned.
exactly. Like he could turn, like they could be a 12 to 13. They could be a 12 to 13 win team with him, I believe. I think they could. There's no doubt. But, if you want to stay in Pittsburgh, that's fine. But don't try to sell your fan base or everybody in the league that all of a sudden you guys are that much closer to, being a champion, because you're not.
Yeah.
I don't know what else there is to say. It's sad, but it is what it is. So the Steelers will probably, just continue on this trend. And like I said, hopefully the second half, they can figure something out. But if the Ravens continue like they're doing, eating up clock and just churning out these drives, they don't have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, and the Ravens have effectively played a perfect game here, where they just force feed Henry. He's getting whatever he wants. Lamar's having no mistakes. I mean, I I almost want to caution myself as it being fool's gold because the Steelers are so bad, but at the same time, the, they're doing exactly what they need to do. So I don't even know how much I can say it's fool's gold just because of the lack of opposition here.
Like you would see during the game, like you'd see, Derek would, rip off a 5-10 yard run or whatever. And then they would pan to the defense, and like the defense looks like they've just been smacked in the mouth, like they can't take it. And then Lamar does his thing. Like the first couple drives of the game was all Lamar. Like they just ran Lamar. They were like, okay, can you stop this? Can you stop this? And they couldn't. And then there was that last touchdown before half where literally Lamar is dancing in the backfield, just doing his thing, and then throws it to Justice Hill like it's nobody's business. And then boom. Like the Steelers they can't keep up with this.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's not too much we can really look forward to the divisional round right now because Houston is the 4 seed. So somebody's going to win ahead of them. Somebody's going to win behind them. So there's really no more prophesizing we can do with that. We can, and then this game, Baltimore's got this well in hand, and they're the 2 seed. So they're going to advance, and whoever's left is going to one's going to play them, one's going to play Kansas City. So we can't really prophesize on matchups too much. But what do you kind of think with Baltimore? What's the better matchup for them? Is it Buffalo taking care of business and with us having 2 versus 3, or is it Denver getting the upset, going to Kansas City, and Baltimore getting the Texans?
Wow. That's wow. I'd almost say Baltimore and the Texans. I think because I don't know if CJ can replicate what he did today. I
Okay.
don't know. I think Baltimore's offensive line would be able to handle the Houston pass rush. And right now, honestly, I don't think it matters who Baltimore plays. Right now, I think Baltimore. I think they're rolling, and I don't. I don't know, man. It's not after tomorrow. Then like you said, it's going to be kind of easy to really figure things out. But right now, Baltimore's on fire now. Buffalo Broncos is going to be interesting to see if the upset happens. If it doesn't, then all bets are off. But right now, I think you got to ride the Baltimore train right now.
Yeah. Well, Bucks McGee, one wild card day down in the opening round. Please give us your final thoughts, sir, on this rather lackluster as it may be opening parlay.
Well, thank goodness it's playoff time, so I don't have to talk about Aaron Rodgers anymore. It's been tiresome. It's been good. Let's just hope the second half of this game ends up being entertaining for the fans. It's been a rough one so far, and we'll just continue. A lot of football left this weekend, and can't wait to see what happens.